The interviewer frowned at me across the desk. You were here 6 months ago. I blinked. No, I wasn't. This is my first time applying to your company. She pulled up something on her computer. Turned the screen toward me. Nina Rossi. March 14th. You interviewed for the same position. I stared at the date. March 14th, 6 months ago. I'd been in Boston that day, visiting my best friend Sarah. Nowhere near Seattle. Nowhere near this office. That wasn't me. It says Nina Rossi right here. Same resume. Same email address. I don't know what to tell you, but I've never been here before. She looked at me like I was lying. Like I was wasting her time. The interview was not good. We have notes. You were unprepared, rude to the receptionist, and you couldn't answer basic questions about the role. My stomach dropped. I don't understand. I've never interviewed here. I've never even been to this building. I'm sorry, but we can't move forward with your application. We don't typically give second chances to candidates who perform this poorly. I left that office in a daze. Sat in my car in the parking lot, hands shaking on the steering wheel. Someone had interviewed using my name. My resume. My identity. Someone had ruined my chances at this job before I'd even applied. I thought it was a mistake. A computer error. A coincidence. I didn't know yet that it was my twin sister. My name is Nina Rossi. I'm 26 years old. I have long, straight brown hair that falls past my shoulders, dark brown eyes, and what people call nervous energy. I fidget when I'm anxious. I talk fast when I'm uncomfortable. I've always been the quieter twin, the careful one, the one who thinks before speaking. My twin sister Elena is my mirror image. Same hair, same eyes, same face. But different in every way that matters. Growing up, we were inseparable. Born 3 minutes apart, me first, then Elena. Our mother used to dress us identically until we were 12 and finally begged her to stop. We shared a room, shared friends, shared everything. Elena was always the bold one. The confident twin. The one who spoke up in class, who made friends easily, who took risks I was too scared to take. I admired her. I wanted to be more like her. I didn't realize until much later that Elena didn't admire me back. She resented me. For being born first. For being the responsible one that our parents praised. For getting the scholarship she didn't get. For small things that accumulated over years into something toxic. When we turned 18, we went to different colleges. I went to University of Washington in Seattle. She went to Portland State. For the first time in our lives, we were separate people. Not the twins. Just Nina and Elena. It was supposed to be healthy. Space to grow. Independence. Instead, it was when Elena started destroying my life. The first incident happened during my sophomore year. I applied for an internship at a marketing firm in Seattle. Competitive position, hundreds of applicants. I made it to the final round. Then I got a rejection email. Thank you for your interest, but we've decided to move forward with other candidates. I was disappointed but not devastated. These things happen. 2 weeks later, I ran into someone from that company at a coffee shop. She recognized me. Hey, you're Nina, right? You interviewed with us. Yeah. Didn't get it, but thanks for the opportunity. She looked uncomfortable. I'm sorry it didn't work out. But between you and me, showing up drunk to an interview probably wasn't your best move. I stared at her. What? The interview. You seemed not yourself. We could smell alcohol. It was really unprofessional. I wasn't drunk. I don't even drink before interviews. I barely drink at all. You were definitely drunk. Multiple people noticed. She left before I could explain. Before I could tell her that I hadn't been drunk, that something was wrong, that maybe it wasn't even me. But who else could it have been? I called Elena that night. Told her what happened. She was sympathetic, supportive. That's so weird, Nina. Maybe someone got you confused with someone else. Maybe. Don't worry about it. There'll be other internships. I believed her. Trusted her. Never suspected. The incidents continued. Small at first, easy to dismiss as coincidence or bad luck. I'd apply for jobs and get rejected immediately, sometimes with notes saying, "We've already interviewed you," when I'd never applied before. I'd try to open a credit card and get denied. When I checked my credit report, there were accounts I'd never opened. Debts I'd never incurred. I'd match with someone on a dating app, only to have them unmatch immediately with angry messages. I don't appreciate being stood up, or "Your profile photos are misleading," or "Why did you lie about your job?" Each incident was confusing, frustrating. But individually, they seemed like mistakes. Identity theft, maybe. Bad luck, probably. I didn't see the pattern. Didn't realize someone was systematically ruining my life. Until 3 years later, when everything came crashing down. I was 26. Working a job I was overqualified for because I couldn't get interviews anywhere better. Living in a small studio apartment because I couldn't get approved for anything larger due to my mysteriously terrible credit. Single because dating had become impossible. Every match ended badly, Every potential relationship sabotaged before it started. I was tired, frustrated, starting to wonder if something was wrong with me. Then came the job interview that changed everything. The one where the interviewer told me I'd already been there. The one where I first understood that someone was actively, deliberately destroying my opportunities. I drove home that day in shock, parked in my building's lot, sat there trying to make sense of what had happened. Someone had used my name, my identity, had gone to that interview pretending to be me. Someone who knew my resume, my email, my personal information. Someone who looked enough like me to convince people they were me. The realization hit like ice water. Elena, my twin sister, my mirror image, the only person who could convincingly pretend to be me. But why? Why would she do this? I called her immediately. She answered on the third ring. Hey Nina, what's up? Did you interview at Morrison Tech 6 months ago? Silence. Just a beat, but enough. What are you talking about? Morrison Tech. In Seattle. Did you use my name to interview there? Nina, you sound paranoid. Are you okay? Answer the question. No. I didn't interview anywhere using your name. Why would I do that? I don't know. But someone did. Someone who looks like me. Someone who has my resume, my email, my information. That's crazy. Maybe it's identity theft. You should report it. Maybe I will. I hung up. But I wasn't convinced. Her voice had been wrong. Too defensive. Too quick to suggest I was paranoid. I needed proof. I spent the next week researching. Calling companies where I'd been mysteriously rejected. Asking for interview records, date stamps, any information they could share. Most places couldn't help due to privacy policies. But one recruiter was sympathetic. I remember you. Or, I remember interviewing someone who said she was you. She was challenging. Argued with me about the salary before we'd even discussed the role. Said she deserved more because of her qualifications, but then couldn't answer basic questions about her experience. What did she look like? Like you. Same hair, same height. Though she wore more makeup than you're wearing now. Brighter lipstick, heavier eyeliner. Elena's style. Elena's attitude. Elena's face. When was this interview? She checked. February 9th. 2 years ago. February 9th. I'd been in California that day, at my college friend's wedding. Had photos to prove it. Hundreds of witnesses. It wasn't me. It was Elena. I needed more proof. More documentation. A pattern I could show people. So I hired a private investigator. His name was Marcus Chin. Mid-40s, former police detective, now running his own PI firm in Seattle. His office was small but professional. Desk covered in case files, wall lined with framed licenses and certifications. I told him everything. The job interviews I never attended. The credit cards I never opened. The dating app disasters I couldn't explain. And you think your twin sister is doing this? She's the only person who could. We're identical. Same face, same height, same build. She knows all my information. She has access to my resume, my email passwords. We used to share everything. Used to. We grew apart after high school. Went to different colleges. She's in Portland, I'm here. We talk maybe once a month now. Surface level stuff. Nothing deep. Any idea why she'd do this? I thought about it. About our childhood. Our relationship. The subtle competitions, the comparisons, the way our parents always seemed to praise me for things Elena struggled with. Maybe resentment? I don't know. We were close once. I thought we still were, just distant. Marcus nodded, taking notes. Okay, here's what I can do. I can surveil her, document her activities, see if she's actually doing what you suspect. I can also pull records, financial records, interview logs if companies will cooperate, anything that shows a pattern. How long will this take? Depends. Could be weeks. Could be months. Identity fraud cases are tricky. But if your sister is doing this, I'll find evidence. How much will it cost? He told me. It was a lot. More than I could comfortably afford. But what choice did I have? Do it. Marcus started his investigation. I went back to my life, trying to act normal. Didn't confront Elena again. Didn't tip her off that I was onto her. Just waited. And watched. 2 weeks later, Marcus called me to his office. Showed me photos. Elena, walking into a building in Seattle. The same building where I'd recently applied for a job. Elena, sitting in a coffee shop, filling out forms. A credit card application. Zoomed in close enough to read my name at the top. Elena, meeting with someone at a bar. Laughing, flirting. Playing the role of extroverted, confident Nina instead of quiet, careful Nina. She's been coming to Seattle regularly, Marcus said. At least twice a month for the past year, maybe more. Staying at cheap hotels, sometimes just day trips. Always uses cash, probably so there's no paper trail. What has she been doing here? Interviews, mostly. I tracked her to 4 different companies in the past 2 weeks. All places where you've applied or were planning to apply. She's also opened 3 credit cards in your name, ran up debt, then stopped paying. How is she getting my information? My social security number, my passwords? You said you used to share everything. Email passwords? Computer access? I thought back. Years ago, when we were teenagers, we'd shared a laptop. Same passwords for everything because it was easier. We joked about being one person in two bodies. We shared passwords when we were younger. But that was years ago. I've changed them since then. To what? I hesitated. Variations. But probably similar patterns. I'm not great with password security. She probably guessed them. Or maybe she has access to your devices somehow. Remotely, if you ever left your computer unattended around her. I felt sick. Can you get more proof? Enough to press charges. I can try. But Nina, you should know, this kind of case is hard to prosecute. Identity theft between family members gets complicated. You'd need to prove she intended harm, that it wasn't just some misunderstanding. She's been doing this for years. Systematically destroying my career, my credit, my dating life. That's not a misunderstanding. I agree. But legally it's messy. Especially with twins. Proving which twin did what, when. You're going to need a lot of evidence. Then get me a lot of evidence. Marcus worked for 2 more months. Followed Elena. Documented everything. Built a case file that was 3 inches thick. Interview logs showing dates Elena attended interviews using my name. Credit card statements with charges in Portland, where I'd never been during those time periods. Dating app message logs, pulled with the help of a tech consultant, showing conversations Elena had while pretending to be me. Bank records showing she'd opened accounts in my name, deposited money, then drained them. Video footage from security cameras at a hotel in Seattle showing Elena checking in under my name. It was overwhelming. Damning. Irrefutable. Elena had been living a second life as me. A worse version of me. A version that interviewed poorly, ran up debt, stood people up, created chaos everywhere she went. And because we were identical, no one questioned it. No one thought to verify. They just assumed Nina Rossi was unreliable, unprofessional, untrustworthy. What do you want to do with this? Marcus asked. I want to confront her. In front of our family. Make sure everyone knows what she did. When? Thanksgiving is in 2 weeks. The whole family gets together. Parents, aunts, uncles, cousins. Everyone. That's when I'll do it. Are you sure? This will destroy your relationship with her. Probably damage your family relationships too. She already destroyed our relationship. She spent 3 years destroying my life. I'm just making sure everyone knows the truth. Marcus nodded. I'll compile everything into a presentation. Documents, photos, timeline. Make it clear and irrefutable. Thank you. I spent the next 2 weeks preparing. Mentally, emotionally. Rehearsing what I'd say. How I'd explain. I didn't tell anyone what I'd discovered. Didn't warn Elena. Just acted normal in our occasional texts. See you at Thanksgiving, she messaged a few days before. Can't wait, I replied. Thanksgiving arrived cold and clear. My parents hosted at their house in Portland. The same house we'd grown up in, now full of extended family. I drove down from Seattle that morning. Stomach in knots. The folder of evidence sitting in my passenger seat like a loaded weapon. Elena's car was already there when I arrived. She was in the kitchen with our mother, laughing about something. She saw me and waved. Nina, you're here. She hugged me. I hugged back. Felt her arms around me, identical to my own. Mirror image. Twin. Betrayer. Hey Elena. How was the drive? Fine. Uneventful. We made small talk. I helped set the table. Greeted relatives. Acted normal. All while the folder sat in my car, waiting. Dinner was the usual chaos. 20 people crammed around a table meant for 12. Food everywhere. Conversations overlapping. Kids running around. Elena sat across from me. Smiling. Relaxed. No idea what was coming. After dinner, my father stood up to make a toast. I'm grateful for this family. For all of you being here. For the love and support we share. To family. To family, everyone echoed. Then I stood up. Actually, I have something to share too. The room quieted. Everyone looked at me. Nina, is everything okay? My mother asked. Not really. I pulled out my phone. For the past 3 years, I've been experiencing really strange problems. Job interviews I never attended but apparently bombed. Credit cards I never opened but somehow have dead on. Dating app disasters I couldn't explain. Elena's face changed. Just slightly. A tightness around her eyes. I thought it was identity theft. Random bad luck. Until a few months ago when an interviewer told me I'd already been there. That I'd been rude and unprofessional. On a date when I was provably somewhere else. Nina, what are you saying? My father asked. I'm saying someone has been using my identity. Going to job interviews as me. Opening credit cards as me. Sabotaging my life systematically for 3 years. I looked at Elena. Someone who looks exactly like me. The room was silent now. Everyone's staring between me and Elena. That's insane, Elena said. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking slightly. Why would I do that? I don't know. But you did. I pulled out my laptop. Opened the presentation Marcus had prepared. This is Elena, walking into Morrison Tech on March 14th. A company I'd just applied to. She interviewed using my name. The company rejected me because of how badly she performed. The photo on screen was clear. Elena, in professional clothes, entering an office building. This is Elena at a bank. Seattle on June 3rd. Opening a credit card in my name. She charged $12,000 and never paid. Another photo. Elena at a desk signing papers. This is Elena on a dating app, using my photos, my profile, matching with people, and then standing them up or being rude until they blocked me. Screenshots of conversations. Elena's writing style, harsher than mine. Ruder. My mother gasped. Elena, is this true? Elena's face had gone white. These are taken out of context. What context makes identity theft okay? I cut her off. What context makes spending 3 years destroying your twin sister's life acceptable? I wasn't destroying your life. I was trying to help. Help. You ruined my career prospects. You destroyed my credit. You sabotaged every relationship I tried to start. How is any of that helping? She couldn't answer. I pulled up the financial records. This is a timeline of every credit card you opened in my name. 8 cards. Total debt of $47,000. All your spending. None of my knowledge. My father's face was red. Elena Marie Rossi, what have you done? I was going to pay it back. I just needed time. 3 years. I interrupted. You needed 3 years to tell me you'd open credit cards in my name? I was in debt. I needed help. And you always had it so easy. Easy. My voice rose. I had it easy. I've been working terrible jobs because I couldn't get interviews. Living in a studio apartment because my credit was too bad for anything else. Single because no one would date me because you kept sabotaging my profiles. You got the scholarship. You got into the better school. You were always the responsible one, the good twin. So you decided to destroy me? To punish me for things that weren't even my fault. Elena's eyes filled with tears. You don't understand. You've always been the favorite. Mom and Dad always praised you. Always held you up as the example. I was tired of being the bad twin. So you became the bad twin by actually doing bad things? How does that logic work? Our mother touched Elena's shoulder. Honey, what you did is serious. This is fraud. Identity theft. These are crimes. I didn't mean for it to go this far. It started small. I went to one interview as Nina, just to see if I could. Then I realized I could use her credit since mine was maxed out. Then it just spiraled. For 3 years, I said flatly. It spiraled for 3 years while you watched me suffer. I'm sorry. Nina, I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix my credit. Sorry doesn't get me the jobs I lost out on. Sorry doesn't repair the 3 years of my life you stole. Our uncle cleared his throat. Nina, what are you going to do? I looked at Elena. At my twin sister. My mirror image. My destroyer. I'm pressing charges. Identity theft, fraud, whatever else my lawyer says applies. And I'm cutting you out of my life completely. Elena's face crumbled. You can't. Nina, please. I'm your sister. You stopped being my sister the moment you decided to steal my identity. You spent 3 years being me. Now you can spend however long it takes facing the consequences. I closed my laptop. Stood up. I have all the evidence. Dates, transactions, video footage, testimony from companies. Everything. My lawyer said it's a strong case. My mother was crying now. Nina, please. Can't we work this out as a family? No. Because my family let this happen. None of you noticed that your daughter's life was falling apart. None of you questioned why I couldn't get a job, why my credit was bad, why I was struggling. You just assumed I was failing. We didn't know. You didn't ask. That's the problem. I picked up my coat. I'm leaving. If any of you want to support Elena through her legal troubles, that's your choice. But leave me out of it. I walked to the door. Behind me, the room erupted. People arguing, Elena crying, my mother trying to calm everyone down. I didn't look back. Drove back to Seattle that night. 3-hour drive in the dark. Processing everything. I'd lost my twin sister. My mirror image. Half of my identity since birth. But I'd saved myself. The legal case moved forward. My lawyer, armed with Marcus's evidence, filed charges. Identity theft, fraud, credit fraud, impersonation. Elena got a lawyer who tried to argue it was a misunderstanding between sisters, that Nina had given consent, that it was all a mistake. But the evidence was too strong, the pattern too clear, the intent too obvious. Elena pled guilty to avoid trial, got 2 years in prison, 5 years probation, and in order to repay all the debt she'd created in my name. My parents hired financial advisors to help repair my credit, paid for therapy, apologized over and over. But the damage was done. The trust was gone. I still see my parents occasionally. Careful visits. Surface-level conversations. They ask about my life, and I give them edited versions. Elena and I haven't spoken since Thanksgiving. She tried to call from prison once. I didn't answer. Some betrayals are too fundamental. Some wounds too deep. She wanted to be me so badly that she destroyed me. Took my identity and twisted it into something ugly. It took me a year to rebuild. To clear my name, repair my credit, start over. I got a good job. Finally. A company that actually interviewed me, the real me, and hired me for my actual skills. I got my own apartment. 1 bedroom, nice building, good neighborhood. Paid for with my own income, my own credit, my own effort. I even started dating. Carefully. With new profiles, new photos, new information that Elena couldn't access. Life got better. Slowly. Painfully. But better. 2 years after that Thanksgiving, I got a letter from Elena. Sent from prison. She apologized. Explained. Begged for forgiveness. I read it once. Then put it in a folder with all the other evidence of what she'd done. Some people want responses. Want closure. Want to know they're forgiven. I don't owe her that. She took 3 years of my life. Stole my identity. Became a twisted version of me. She doesn't get to also take my forgiveness. I'm 28 now. 2 years past the nightmare. Building a life that's finally actually mine. Sometimes people ask if I miss having a twin. If I miss that bond. I tell them the truth. I miss who I thought she was. But I don't miss who she actually became. If you've ever had someone close to you betray your trust, steal your identity, sabotage your life while pretending to love you, remember this. You don't owe loyalty to people who destroy you. Even if they're family. Even if they're your twin. Some bonds are meant to be broken. And sometimes the person who shares your face is the most dangerous enemy you'll ever have. If this story resonated with you, tell me where you're watching from. Share your experience if you're ready. And subscribe. The next story might feel even more familiar than you'd like.